The pressure behind the scenes has reached its highest level, and 4 high-risk situations have emerged to define the direction of our franchise this season. An elite NFL offensive superstar, known for his uncommon speed, has just issued a concerning warning about his slow physical recovery. Our management needed to make a quick decision on this opportunity, but the behind the scenes reveals the exact reason we should stay completely away from this negotiation. What was discovered about this health condition? Hold your anxiety. I will reveal these details to you shortly in the video. And the intensity doesn't stop there. Our head coach activated a hidden tactical advantage that completely changed the pace of preparation, imposing a level of urgency that no one expected. At the same time, a rigorous assessment of our roster placed the coaching staff under intense pressure, putting a young and promising athlete from our secondary at real risk of losing his spot and being cut. Leave your like on the video. It's just one click, and it helps me a lot. Almost all prominent receivers have been linked to the Washington Commanders this offseason significantly. As a fan who follows every move, I know this has been a clear priority. Tyreek Hill is among them, but if General Manager Adam Peters was considering making a move, it might be better to rethink. Hill is nearly a year removed from a severe knee dislocation and anterior cruciate ligament rupture that required 2 surgeries. The Miami Dolphins would never bring him back after that, and no one else is convinced enough to take the risk, based on Hill's recent comments significantly. It's not hard to understand why. Tyreek Hill's admission gives the Commanders yet another reason to look for alternatives. In a training video posted on social media, Hill explained that he believes the timeline is favorable for a possible return at some point in 2026. It's a gradual process, clearly, but the explosive receiver acknowledged that he has not yet regained strength in his left leg, the one he devastatingly injured. It has been about 10 months since the 2 surgeries. The left leg is the one I significantly injured. I have no strength at all in my left leg, so I'm trying to get it completely back. But it's a day-by-day process, clearly. If the Commanders decide they need more help, they need it immediately. Hill would be a game-changing player at the height of his form, with 5 All-Pro first-team selections on his resume. But it seems he may not be fully ready until mid-season, or even later significantly. That's a problem, at least for Washington. There's pressure to start off on the right foot. Coach Dan Quinn needs to ride out the initial storm before the bye week, clearly. And he needs to do it successfully. If they can overcome these challenges and still be in the hunt, signing someone like Hill a little later in the process becomes more appealing. But right now, significantly, when the Commanders have so much to lose from the start, forget it. Peters did not reveal his intentions, and there's also the possibility he holds his position during the training period before evaluating the market later. During the summer, clearly, there may be more interesting options available at that time, which would avoid veterans still on the market at this stage of the year. But for someone like Hill, significantly. This comment simply makes the signing unfeasible. As soon as Hill receives medical clearance, he will have a home. An emotional reunion with the Kansas City Chiefs would be a closing chapter for the wide receiver and for the franchise in a clear way. A line of other potential championship candidates would seize the opportunity to sign him, but only when he is healthy. However, considerably. This update is just another reason to look for other options if you are the Commander. The risks are simply too many, especially when the urgency could not be greater. The pressure on Dan Quinn is felt considerably for the 2026 season, but the coach of the Washington Commanders also has an advantage at the start of training camp that can make a difference quickly. Quinn has never lost control of the locker room, but he has made it clear that the failures of last season will not become the norm under his command in a clear way. The messages were subtle for those looking from the outside, but given how his players reacted, they had the desired effect. The Commanders felt that Quinn's experience could play a key role in taking this franchise where it wants to go considerably. That experience propelled Washington to the heights of the NFC Final in the first year of his management. But it will be even more necessary now. Dan Quinn has clearly put into practice the new urgency of the Commanders. This is not the first time that Quinn has needed to overcome adversity throughout his successful coaching career. He went through the same situation with the Atlanta Falcons, but was unable to turn things around. Lessons have been learned considerably, with a focus on avoiding delays in the tough decisions necessary to revitalize the organization. General Manager Adam Peters has done his part, reshaping the roster with younger players with long-term potential. Quinn clearly swapped the offensive and defensive coordinators, in addition to exponentially increasing the tempo of training during Washington's preseason. And, as a result, the atmosphere within the team improved significantly. There were no breaks considerably. Every repetition, every practice, and every meeting was maximized. The urgency was evident, and everyone was committed. Fans should not expect anything less in a clear way, especially considering the esteem that Quinn still inspires among his players. Expect this trend to continue throughout the training period. In fact, considerably. It will only increase. The competition for the roster is tighter than ever. Veterans want to correct the past mistakes in a clear way. And newcomers are looking to solidify their spots on the team. The energy is high, and even though the future of the Commanders this season is still uncertain, there is now a real hope that the situation could change considerably. If it doesn't work out, Quinn may not have a third season in Washington. He knows this deep down, and so do his players. But at least he has strived to put this ambitious project back on the right path to success in a clear way. And if the same dedication, attitude, and intensity are evident throughout the summer, the Commanders should be much more competitive when the real competition begins. The confidence in Quinn has never wavered considerably. That is the only positive point he can take from a 2025 campaign that promised a Super Bowl run, and delivered only 5 wins and many doubts, now in a clear way. The page has turned, and Quinn is already taking on the great responsibility of re-establishing this proud football franchise. The veteran ESPN commentator John Keim made a prediction about how the Washington Commanders' 53-man roster might look in Week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. There weren't many surprises, but there was no room for any promising players who haven't met expectations so far. And while there is still clear hope regarding safety Tyler Owens, the pressure has increased considerably. Owens was not on Keim's 53-man list, and the journalist is not alone in this opinion. He notably chose Nick Cross, Will Harris, Jeremy Reeves, Quan Martin, and Percy Butler as options for the safety position in Washington. There are arguments in favor of this possibility, but the undrafted player from 2024, coming from Texas Tech, still has untapped potential to make things interesting. Unfortunately for Owens, his NFL career has followed a path similar to his college trajectory. Tyler Owens needs to start living up to his obvious promise of making the Commanders roster. He has all the necessary athleticism to be a genuine force on defense. Owens is big, tall, fast, and physical. His instincts have improved enough to make him a good special teams player, but there wasn't enough confidence to put him in the defensive rotation frequently. It's not hard to understand why, despite all of Owens' impressive physical attributes. Not everything has fallen into place. His positioning sense often hurts him, and his tackling technique is still rudimentary 2 years after his arrival in Washington. His coverage skills have improved a bit, but he needs to work very hard this summer to secure a third year on the team. Cross, Harris, Martin, and Reeves seem to have guaranteed spots on the roster. That leaves 1 or 2 spots for the others. And considering how much Butler is valued as a special teams player, he may have the edge over Owens at this moment. And if he can't surpass Butler in the battle for the 5th safety spot, perhaps Washington won't be the best place for Owens after all. Owens' story was inspiring during the 2024 preseason. He rightfully earned his spot on the team and did exactly the same last summer. But at some point, promise alone won't be enough. The important thing is to deliver results. Unless Owens shows the expected growth during training camp and the preseason, a situation may arise where he is cut. Doing that in practice will be easy for a player with his talent, but the decisive test will come in Washington's preseason games. He needs to shine early and often before his fate is sealed. And if Keim's prediction is correct, the outcome could go either way. And now, to close with Deebo Samuel. You will understand why he suffered a brutal awakening. Deebo Samuel Sr. was excited about his first experience as a free agent in the NFL. The Washington Commanders chose not to renew the wide receiver's contract, but rumors indicated that he would have a hot market after a decent season. Samuel had a brutal awakening. The Commanders looked for other options, and everyone else has done the same so far. Despite the tough situation, this versatile offensive weapon is confident that he can still be an asset when his next opportunity arises, and he made that very clear amid growing speculation about his uncertain situation. It's been kind of difficult. To be honest, for me and how I play, no matter what I'm going through, it doesn't matter what I'm doing significantly. If I'm in a position to play well, I'll give everything I've got for my team. Some people ask, "Are you ready to retire?" And I respond, "Not clearly. Everything has its time." So I promise that when the time comes, it will come. And I am more than prepared significantly, more than ready for the moment. And when the right opportunity arises, we'll be here first, man. I'm ready to crush it, clearly. This was a call to teams that are still undecided. Things haven't gone as Samuel expected so far. And there was a tone of desperation in his comments, significantly, with just a few weeks left before the start of the regular season. It's a tough situation. Samuel played well last season, clearly, certainly well enough to have been signed by now. Maybe it's his age or the wear and tear he's experienced throughout his career. But he stayed in shape throughout 2025 and remained focused amid turbulent times significantly. Will Samuel return to being an All-Pro? Probably not, but that doesn't mean he can't be useful, clearly, in the right context, as a complementary piece within a system that leverages his strengths. Where exactly that will happen, no one knows for sure. According to reports significantly, Samuel was interested in returning to the San Francisco 49ers, but the interest was one-sided. He would be a great option for any championship contending team, clearly. especially the Los Angeles Rams, if he was willing to accept a slightly lower salary. And any team with a young quarterback needing security on the roster would greatly benefit from the presence of the player who graduated from the University of South Carolina. However, significantly, nothing worth signing has come to him. The longer the situation drags on, the more worried Samuel will become. He believes he still has a lot to offer, clearly. But when the league ignores the issue, that's where it all ends. Samuel is far from it, of course. He should be signed at some point significantly. But it already seems that some concessions are going to be made regarding his role and the salary he will receive. And that's not what he envisioned when entering the frantic free agency window.